tell that if there's a keyword that you want to go after, you need to write content, long form content. You need to optimize it with the
As many people have said it before me, is everybody works for Google if you're working on SEO.
I think this conversation is going to be very helpful for people who actually wants to understand SEO from a different perspective.
Patience plays a big role in terms of building SEO. So
How we can actually inculcate this customer sales lifecycle journey into the SEO, because welcome to the podcast, Santiago. It's my pleasure to have you on my podcast. And in particularly the topic that you have chosen to discuss, that is something very close to my heart, because I have been using customer sales journeys to be implemented, to be inculcated in my content strategy, as a way of being able to uh, position any brand or any business for the full exposure of keyword queries that a prospect might search for. So before coming to the questions, I would just want you to actually introduce yourself for our audience, and just tell us something about yourself and your work, and how you came about joining this industry.
absolutely, man. Thank you so very much. Happy to join you. Yeah, my introduction to the SEO was, I guess, about a decade now. I started working for a tech company that actually worked as a channel for big tech vendors, and they had a mission. They had a set of challenges regarding how to catapult themselves and having a digital presence um, that is needed all in a local but also an international type of way. Uh, but the struggle was lying below how can you surpass a company such as HP, Oracle, Dell, many of the big names in tech, if you're a channel that also sells their products, but in a very specific niche and to a very specific audience. So it was already from the start a hard task and a big challenge to be able to just find a way to give a company and a business a digital presence that is going to be, you know, putting them next to the big names. So I started off with that, and my background is much more related to international business. I studied, that was my major in university, and I never thought I would end up working in SEO. I obviously heard the name many times before, but my goal was to work for a tech company and just try to. I knew I was tech savvy and just try to mix all those worlds together, but ended up with marketing in my lap, and I absolutely loved it. And I felt that it was so much about common sense as it is about technical skills. So you try to apply all that common sense and the way you see the world and the way you feel also, with a lot of observation how a business needs to set a record straight and to have this digital presence on it. I still currently work with a lot of SEO projects. I currently have a set of mixed stacks. So I have my clients on the side, which I do consulting for them in many aspects of marketing, digital marketing, and in many ways increase their digital presence. And I also work for a company that is still, I'm still in tech business. You know, I still work for a company that does software, which is uh, almost always very challenging task. But yeah, that's been my introduction to SEO so far.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I must tell you that I have come across so many people from varied backgrounds, who have actually happened to come into SEO by chance, and they have actually, gelled up well with this industry. Even I come from a sales background with 12 years of experience in the sales, and I did my MBA in marketing. And all the time, during my initial years, I was just like a bit of lost in the industry. But as soon as I was able to actually, connect with my core skills, that is sales and marketing, I started seeing things differently, and that is how, I actually started enjoying SEO over the time. And similarly, I have come across so many other people, who are not core from the core technical background, but they are doing so well in SEO. And I think that's what makes it most attractive for people like us, that it actually requires you to apply logic, apply your mind, see things differently, and come up with some um, solutions, out of the box solutions. I'm so happy to hear that, to come across a personality like you who actually shares the similar background as mine. So coming on to our next question, what I would be most interested to, steer this conversation towards a point wherein, our audience is able to understand how we can actually inculcate this customer sales lifecycle journey into the SEO, because I've been seeing SEO industry from the last 10 years, and I've seen experienced the
Yeah,
most you know non-creative way of doing SEO. And I think this conversation is going to be very helpful for people who actually wants to understand SEO from a different perspective. So I just hand it over to you.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel that there's still many smoke around SEO in terms of approaching it as a discipline. Um, Not necessarily bad smoke, but it is certainly for many people that I know that work in marketing. Um, it's a scary place to go to sometimes. And many times people feel that they interact with SEO or they get to work on a project that involves them to work on SEO, but they end up failing. And one of the things is always common is the patience plays a big role in terms of building SEO. So you're working like in two rhythms, if you will. You're working on a very fast-paced rhythm because you got to make sure that on the technical aspect, technicals should be working as you're supposed to. So obviously you need to bring all of that knowledge into it and build your SEO as 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 best way possible. But at the same time, you also have to have the patience that that work you just done on a fast-paced on a daily basis is going to end up bringing the results you want. You got to remember that at the end of the day, you're just working for Google, as many people have said it before me. Is everybody works for Google if you're working on SEO? If you remember, Google's mission is to organize the information around the world, and what you have in search engines is, yeah, the search engine is there and it will work on your favor, but you also have to bring in many information for it to work. So you're basically just dialing in all the information that your business is about, all the things you wish people uh, find out about your business. Now you got to translate that for the search engine to know about it. And the optimization in the word comes from the ways that you are going to help this algorithm to better understand how it can recommend you to other users. So you're always optimizing on a ways that understanding and logical thinking on humans is actually done. So it does have a lot of technical things because that is the way you communicate with the SERP, but it also has very strong human part of it, which is the way that you wish to be recognized and you wish to be found out uh, from your target audience. Yeah. So I think keeping in mind that it's a human audience, keeping in mind that it's real deals and real people that you wish to interact with, I think it is one of the key aspects on it. And not so much however it might feel intimidating to work on an SEO project because you always doubt in yourself, maybe if this is the wrong combination of things you're putting up, if you're choosing the right keywords, if you're choosing the right images, if you're doing all the technical aspects behind a web page, website. You also have to keep that human aspect in the logic and how you wish to be found out, and how this business relates to a community of people and a set of clients that it wishes to interact with.
Certainly. And that brings me to the point that, I have actually come across such situations multiple times. And although, previously people used to tell that, if there's a keyword that you want to go after, you need to, write content, long form content, you need to optimize it with the keywords. And, at times you would see there will be similar type of content in a given serve for a specific keyword. And there's not much deviation in terms of the idea that a reader derives from all those results. And what I always, what I've always done and perceived is, you need to present a different perspective, right? What you feel about that keyword. And Google is always, search engines are always looking to present an array of results, an array of different thought processes to the user, so that the user can take a call as to what they want to go with, right? Rather than just imitating a similar line of content and thought. It pays you to be different, to be creative, to be, steer away from the established norm. So do you also, what you see? Have you ever actually, come across such a situation or tried something that has actually, given you results?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got to keep in mind many business, the nature of the business will actually tell you how specific you want to be. The perspectives of the client can change very much, and that leads us to think you might be on a business that's trying to find and trying to wake up that sense of presence in some audiences, meaning that you might have audience that doesn't know you or doesn't know how your product even uh, how it's written, how it's called. So keep in mind that your potential client and your leads will try to find you in many ways that you haven't even thought before. So that's where the creative and logical aspect I think it runs through. Yes, it's important for many businesses to compete on a level that is um, I mean that's the most logical of all, and there's many industry keywords that you just need to be part of it, even though you might be struggling for those top positions. Many times you got to keep in mind that without covering the basics. So this is something big for the work we do here, and the work I've been doing is covering the basics is very important. And then yet it's also important what you mentioned. It's just differentiated and be creative about the ways and aspects that your audience might be able to find you. One of the things I found out in many years of working with SEO is sometimes you try to differentiate your business too much, and the keywords that you picked are very in a way that they try to be a competitive advantage. Many businesses try to by naming and wording their own solutions and products and the goods they're putting into a market, they differentiate it too much in the way that they use the word. And yes, that can bring you fast results in SEO, obviously, but is in an analogy that is practical, is trying to sell shoes by calling it I don't know, devices for floor interaction is going to maybe bring you results, but you also want to compete in the word shoes, shoes for men, black shoes, sporting shoes, shoes for tennis, and all that is very contextual in many ways. So you can have great results by differentiating a lot, but also applying the logic of covering as much as you can the basics, the hygienics of what a business should be called. Always try to go for the simplest words. Always try to also be part of uh, that most blunt way of naming your product, business, or goods that you put it into the market is going to end up building the results you want.
That's true. That's I completely agree with you, and that I nobody can actually negate the importance of being specific. When specifically when you are working with the clients, clients have some specific keywords or specific queries that they want to go after. So obviously we need to keep that balance. But yes, I completely agree with your point. And now coming on to the next question, how if I were to ask, are you a ChatGPT fan? Do you use it in your processes?
Love it. Yes, absolutely. Very fan of it. I actually have I try to work with many of them. Uh, uh, for the most part, I try to open three tabs and go for the big ones. I have some Gemini, Copilot, and ChatGPT. Yes, I treat it as a companion to my work, as another individual that can maybe help you build better ideas. So some people try to go and ask for the precise way of combinations of words or tasks they want from ChatGPT to give them. But in a way, it's also in my opinion, the best way to use it is to try to have conversations with it in which you're finding out. Try to tell it once that its answers, the first answers are not that good. Uh, that you're trying to build something else, and it can also ask you questions. It can also ask you for more information that is going to lead up to a better results I get. But yeah, this is for me on a daily basis. I work with several AIs, and I very much enjoy it.
That's great. And do you also use ChatGPT or any AI tool to create content for your business, for your website or your client sites?
We've done it in the past. Yes, I can't lie, but I still feel that human created content is also very strong still. Uh, some of the clients I go by, they're very specific in the way that they want to put some of the stories as form of content out there. I find it useful to bring in ChatGPT to help me rewrite or think about an angle of a paragraph. Say, part of it can be explained better with the use of ChatGPT, or you can have a great text that then you can bring to a human, and just by that interaction is always helpful. I also done cases in which we get great results by using several AIs to build, in a sense of like in a communal way, bring in several paragraphs and end up with great results also on content. So yes, I think it's getting better every day and more valuable, but you also have to have a great sense of how to work with it and not rush it too much, to have to bring in that patience that sometimes it is needed for content.
I completely understand. And,
Yeah.
and do you ever have, do you find it detrimental to, organic growth or organic traffic or, organic rankings?
Not yet, not yet. As I told you, I believe that you might find out that it's detrimental if you do nothing about it. I mean, if you leave it all completely out for ChatGPT to build your content and give you whatever text it has, you have no interaction with it. So you done used the tool in the wrong way. So if this content is going to be hopefully read by humans, then you have to have a human eye. So a little bit of editing, a little bit of critical thinking on what the AI is giving you is also very helpful if you don't want to end up with detrimental. Because yes, I know, and I've seen some cases of which you mentioned. Many people ask ChatGPT to build content for them, and they end up with things that might not be even be true, might not even be applicable to current standards. So in a way, you always got to keep in mind that this is something that is going to help you as any other tool. You got to treat it as a tool, which is an intelligent tool, but at the same time, you wouldn't let it just give you whatever, and without no vetting or without no personal touch to it, it won't work for you.
All right. Do you use it for mapping the customer sales journey as well? And if you do, could you please shed some light as to how you actually go about mapping the customer sales journey for a given client or a business?
Yeah, well, I guess for mapping customer journeys, I don't remember having bring it to it in a way that I'm just gonna ask it to help me build a map processing journey. or any type of process, but I've treated before with some data that I have. So I will give you an example. Some of the things we discovered for a client in the way that they perceive their buyer persona was not matching the actual data that we have for the clients. So sometimes a business owner will describe you a buyer persona, and when you see the data, that buyer persona is not so much matching that description, and the actual clients are not getting reflected on that. So many times you will get a set of data that you can bring into ChatGPT and said, let me give you some data, and you will help me in a very structured way try to organize this data as much as possible and find correlations on it that can help me build a better buyer persona. I'm aiming for having a very good description of this audience. I'm aiming for having insights that might be possible that I haven't seen before. Try to give me psychographic and demographic data if you feel that it's possible without exaggerating. And I've almost always found out that it brings um, very good data. It gives you back very good results while applying that. But you got to be also very specific. I mean, the way that you interact with it and the wording that you put into it, it will help it clear away and steer away from bringing um, like things you don't need, like let's call it like trashy text or results that you don't want from it, because it's I feel that it would put too much pressure on it to just give me back something. Many times, just need to remind it that if it doesn't have the amount of data it needs to get to that result, and that thing for which you're aiming to and for, then it should be asking you more questions, and sometimes that brings you much better results. So that's been a process of mine many times. Is just describe first the test and how does the goal look to you? What do you wish is the outcome of your interaction with the AI, right? And now you describe it. You can also ask it, are are you sure you understand this? Please confirm that you understand my goal, and then you provide it with the data that is needed, and these interactions go way smoother because you'll be able to tell it, I don't need so much of that, but I will be needing that you help me describe some psychographical points and nature of some of these audiences, because I'm trying to build this and I'm trying to do a great campaign and I'm trying to find people to go to my website, and in that sense, that structural um, way of communicating it based on goals it's been very helpful to me.
That's right. And Santiago, one more question that I'd be interested to know is, is there any one problem that you are currently, going through with respect to SEO? Some strategy or something that you have tried well in the past, but it's not no more working right now, or if there's any challenge that you think that is actually going to be a very common challenge for the wider industry.
Absolutely. No, I think I'm still currently working on getting better audience. The traffic that you get from SEO sometimes, because this is my thing. In many ways, marketing has decided and has been thinking that traffic that comes from campaigns and paid media can be a little sketchy sometimes. You don't always hit your target with the audience. You might get uh, not so good amount of leads, or leads that are not in the hallmark of what you are trying to aim for. But organic leads, obviously, they will be good. Sometimes you find out, especially with B2C business and some B2B business, you don't always hit your mark with organic. Challenges have been uh, kind of steady, but I'm still working on challenges. And I'll give you an example: the nature of how you describe the business in contextual ways. Uh, what is it if you have a business? Take for example a SaaS business, a software as a service, and you put in any service out there. Try to think of the many ways that people will find you if they didn't know you existed. if they had no chance whatsoever to use the wording and the actual categorization of your business, how would they find out about you? And in many ways, you get very much good results on that. And I think there's still the challenge for business on, you know, see themselves observing from the outside and you know, trying to extrapolate your vision on how audiences might interact and find you, because some people just try to feel that it's enough by just covering the basic keywords. Many times it's just a contextual search that will bring you the best lead. So I'm still working on many challenges regarding that, and try to come up with great ideas on how people think outside the regular common set of keywords and how to relate it to business. So that's one of them.
That's true. That's true. And in fact, what I perceive is, most of the SEOs, or the, the digital marketers, they actually, if we see it from the perspective of SEO, they most of the time I've seen people just covering the top of the funnel keywords and trying to make sense of it, or and trying to project it as a success, whereas I personally feel the success is to lead that traffic into the lower levels of the funnels for the clients, right? And I think for that, I personally feel that for every blog that you're writing, for every keyword or query that you are going to cover in that blog, you always need to have a primary and a secondary objective attached to that particular blog, which is going to push a prospect further down the funnel. And that is
Huh?
where clients are going to get the value for their money. If you are simply going to target keywords, and even if you first and foremost, it's not really easy to rank for the queries these days. And even if you are able to rank those queries on page one, and if you're not able to lead those customers to share details with with the business, I don't think the client would get value for the money.
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree with you. In terms of content, it's still the challenge. Many clients will just tell you, I don't know what to write anymore. I've done it. I've done as much as content that you can think of. I've done the 5 things you need to know, 10 things you haven't done before about this and that. And they will start feeling the pressure about coming up with new content. Sometimes they try to rely on AI and that doesn't work. But I think some of them, and people tend to forget that you always need to be educating and re-educating your client.
Mhm.
Is and remind yourself it's content, and not because you've seen great TV or great movies, you don't need to see any more movies. I mean, you're always on the search for something different, and also everything keeps moving. You still have room to explain the things and tell the stories you told before, and then you compare that with the real world. How many detective movies are there out there? How many are then being made right now? How many novels about detectives? And you would say, oh man, we've written everything about detectives by now. No, people still love to hear new stories and new angles about the same thing before they heard before, even though they feel there's something that they've seen. You got to be able to just, okay, let me do just like a recheck about everything we've written before and how we can come up with great content, and that will open the doors for things that you will be able to find as great results. The thing you mentioned, you got to be able to just offer a funnel that is not too intrusive to your leads. You got to be aware that you were bringing some great leads, and imagine yourself bringing the ideal lead into your website and web page. Is it everything there looks organized and is done in a proper way? So many of the things that SEO benefits at the end of the day, I mean, counted numbers and results, come from the logic of working together with great UI, great user experience, finding out about the things that your audience has been looking for. So you will never get tired of doing something different on angles you might have taken on before.
Absolutely. And I think, it's high time that SEO needs to turn into storytellers, right?
Yep.
like directors of the movies, we need to come up with angles, with stories that we want to project for a business, and also be able to, project it towards, to the audiences so that they are able to, interact and engage with the story, and gradually, also, take actions, whatever, preconceived actions we want them to take on the website, so that they can actually, try and contact the business directly. So that's
Absolutely.
really, intriguing, and I think this is going to be the challenge for people, the specifically people in the SEO industry. And we have to be, as creative as possible, just to be able to catch that particular, algorithm hack, as we say it. And I think every business has some unique angles, some unique stories, some unique points to actually harp on, in on the social media or in the search engines. And it's just about the, people in the SEO industry to discover them, to, to project them in as good manner as possible.
Absolutely. That's why I think the nature and the future of the industry of SEO, if you want to work in SEO, is just got to keep in mind that it still needs very much a human component. It needs very much that human logical sense of thinking and structuring ways and being creative. So there's very room to be creative about the way you build content and the way you think about the funnels that you apply to your website. Yeah.
That's great. And Santiago, by the way, well, there's just an off the record question that I would want to ask. How do you have an in-house team that you work with to deliver SEO projects, or you work with freelancers, or what is it? How do you actually manage the entire show?
We currently, for the company I currently work, we do have an in-house team that works on it. It's not a large team. This is a B2B company that basically just has run SEO for many years. And now what we do on a daily basis is make sure that every single page out there has a strong correlation of what is intended to bring, and you don't get many contradictions in ways that you're trying to find spots or great positions on the SERP for some pages. Uh, so we try to not have a conflicting strategy around some of the content we put up. Sometimes I've worked with freelancers on several projects, also because you get to find people that is very, very capable of doing some of the things you haven't even thought before. Uh, some challenges of SEO might be and will get technical if you're working with apps, if you're working with non-structured or headless websites. Take, for example, I've done that before in the past, and I've done it for clients that they run pretty big businesses that actually need a lot of different ways to position and very dynamic type of SEO, and contextual SEO would always be some of the things you will need people to run by it. So currently I work with I know people from the industry. I tend to call them back again if they're available to work with me in some of the projects. I move from project to project, but yeah, on a daily basis, that's the way I implement it.
That's amazing, Santiago, and it's a pleasure for me to have you on our podcast. And I
Thank you,
really
my pleasure.
having you in my network and be more communicative. I thank you very much for being here, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Amit.
I'll be doing
Great
the
to talk to you.
podcast and sharing the link with you before I actually publish it on my channel, so that you have a look at it. If there are anything that you want to be edited, we can actually do that, and publish this on a YouTube channel.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me, and great invitation.
Pleasure,
Uh,
Santiago. It's great, having a conversation with a like-minded person. And this is probably the first time I'm discussing this, this concept of sales life cycle journey with anybody, because I've hardly come across anybody who actually uses this, concept to, implement in any of the SEO campaigns, which is so much centralized to the idea of, engaging a customer and leading them to a goal.
Absolutely. So much still to talk about. And I'm open for any other invitation if you want to touch the subject yet again in the future. But it's so much that you have there, because many businesses will just define the SEO strategy just like, okay, cover the keywords and that's it, and then do content. Keywords and content will not give you uh, in many ways what you're trying to find out with a customer journey. Customer journey will decide upon which SEO is going to be done first, and also you need to think about which searches you gotta make sure that you have a presence, and which queries are you're still not giving it a presence, even though it's important for you on a way that the life cycle of the sales is being brought up in the company. So working with sales is highly important in terms of SEO also.
Certainly, I would love to connect with you. Once again, I've sent you a LinkedIn friend request, and I would like to add you to my network. And in future, what I'm planning is, I'm planning to actually delve into specific topics. We let's suppose, we
Yeah.
example of a random business, and we can discuss their strategy, what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong, what we can actually suggest them to. And in fact, I have been trying to use it as a lead gen as well, picking
Mm.
prospective.
Picking up with specific problems, like you solve a challenge. Yeah.
And discuss it over our YouTube channel, and then share that link to the owner of the business as
Some
well.
business.
Right. So that is something that I'm interested in, and I will certainly ping you back on LinkedIn, and we can plan it, maybe within this, towards the end of this month, or maybe in the first week of next month.
Sweet. Anytime. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
cool.
you. All
All
right.
right. Have a
Bye.
good weekend, man.